What's up, weaves? Welcome back to Anime Lane. I'm oh god.
You're man.
I'm Notorious.
I'm the man.
Joining me once again today is Shaun.
Aye.
And Melina. No.
Do it. Do you have the energy?
What is a baddie?
Oh.
So you're hitting frequencies only dogs can hear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For our
Like for our canine audience.
4 dogs just hit through the window like right now.
For some reason, I can only think of feline audience.
No,
So
wrong.
I was like,
wrong.
no, what is the dog version?
We are
Canine.
Yeah.
We are-
Words.
we do not advertise to the cat girl community.
Unless. Any cat girls?
Cat girls up in the chat. Let's go. Well, in case you couldn't tell, this is our last episode.
This is the last
of the day.
episode
Yeah.
of the day. I feel like the audio levels are jumping up too high though. Hold on.
What?
That's just crazy. It couldn't be because we're like so
No,
high
I
energy.
think we're good. I
Yeah,
think
we're
we're
super
good.
high energy. I have a good chunk of monster left.
Sorry, I should have turned further away from the mic for that. Oh, fuck off.
Well, you gotta now get to decide. Is this the chaos you want to keep in or not?
I'll probably cut this part out.
Okay, you want to start over?
Sure.
I feel like we got yeah.
Do they want to hang up? Like, bro. Fucking hell!
I take it you can't disconnect the phone or anything.
I don't think so. I mean, probably could.
Yeah.
Those phones go on.
Surely it should just go to the answering machine by now. There we
Wait there.
go.
Next
This
time, I should be able to reach the no button, I think.
Yeah, it's all good.
Start again.
What's
Slap
up,
yourself in the
weaves?
face. Come on, just get it.
What's up, weaves? Welcome back to Anime Lane. I'm Notorious. Joey wants to get this Shaun.
Yeah, well.
I'm Melina.
Oh, whoa. What is a baddie?
For a second, I thought the hobo had overwritten.
Yeah,
No, I would never abandon my potties like that.
I'm so relieved.
you should.
Yeah. They're our core audience.
Yeah, exactly. You
Dozen
gotta
of them.
rep the potties.
Hey, they're loyal.
Yeah, they gotta be.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the last episode of the day.
No, that's wild.
I
That's crazy.
didn't. I don't know who picked the subject for this episode.
Shaun.
Oh,
Did I?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I did.
I believe you did.
I don't think
Otherwise,
I did.
I'm putting the blame on him.
Wow.
It wasn't
No,
me.
I did not do this.
I was just gonna pass it off to whoever suggested it to start something. The only prompt we have right now is fucking Duolingo.
Which these fucker. I've been doing this Duolingo for years.
I didn't
And-
suggest this.
No. I'm saying a thing. I've been doing Duolingo for years now. I've been there even longer. Going to high school, I used it. And then when I started dating Manuel, I was like, shit, I have to learn Italian.
Mhm.
Reused it. Then Shaun jumped on.
Yeah, 'cause-
like 2 years after we met, maybe.
Yeah, roundabout. Yeah, like 2023. I want to say.
And
I'm coming
who
up to 2
started
years.
a month ago?
Oh, whoa.
In your new era.
I'm about to have 100 days.
Oh.
I know, I hit 100 days yesterday.
Yeah. So
Nice.
you've been here for a few months.
3
now.
months.
Yeah. Wow. No, it feels like shorter, but yeah.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
3.5 months.
You're right.
He,
Proud.
you
Proud.
gotta get out of the mindset that he's the Duolingo baby.
He's the big.
I'm currently the one absolutely fucking abusing that little bird.
He keeps sending you free
He
trials.
does.
Why?
Every
Free
few
trials,
days.
triple XP, adding on to time to that triple XP because I keep getting double XP as well.
I get like those trials like every so often.
Yeah,
Like
I
ever
got-
since you've joined.
Got 3 in a row.
Every few days, I just get a message. Rebel wants to invite you for a free trial of the fan.
No, every
plan."
7 days
Oh yeah,
because it's a week trial.
yeah, and then it stops for like 2 days.
Yeah, it comes back.
Yeah. It's like I'll do a couple of lessons like on those like couple of days because I'm busy with work or whatever, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, should check my Super Duolingo because at this point I'm kind of like I get enough use out of it where I'm like I'll probably subscribe, and I go on and hit the little Super Duolingo icon you get at the bottom of the app, and it's like try for free, and I'm like
Again?
what again?
Yeah, you're absolutely abusing that. Like, I have you doing that. I have an aunt who constantly does it to me. My
Wow.
sister does it to me.
That's crazy.
I don't get the prompts. I never press it. I never ask for the free subscription because I've had the unpaid for so
Yeah,
long now that
yeah.
I'm just kind of like, I don't mind
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I finished the whole Italian
I
course,
was
so
I was
don't really
ignoring
need
the
it.
prompt for a while, and then it just kept pestering me that much. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go for the
Fuck
free
it,
trial.
leave
That way, it
Yeah.
just, excuse me, it'll stop.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
leave me alone.
No, it won't.
And
No,
that bird
it
never
keeps
leaves you
giving me
alone.
free trials.
That's the lie.
I mean,
yeah.
it's leaving me alone, but it's because it's giving me free trial after free trial.
Free trial?
Yeah.
Free trial.
Free trial?
Free trial.
Free
trial?
trial?
Like, I will subscribe. I will give it money. It's just not letting me.
I want to pay for your services.
No, you'll do it for free.
So right now I'm like second or third in the Obsidian League
Nice.
for the time being. I keep getting knocked out first.
Yeah,
It's fierce competition right now.
Just wait until you get, like, I don't remember what the one league before Diamond is, but that one's hella
Obsidian.
competitive. It's so
It's
competitive.
the last league before I go into Diamond.
Because it's everyone who just fell out of Diamond, basically,
Yeah.
that's like, shit, I've got to get back
Uh-huh.
up there.
Gotta
And
get
there's
back
me
on
who's
top.
just got into it, like, I'm gonna fucking beat your asses.
Yeah, because I'm so competitive to that shit as well. And, like, I talked about it with you, Sean.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, nah, I'm cozy where I'm at.
Compared to you two, I do not give a fuck.
It's
about
because,
the
like, I
tournament.
started getting, like, the triple XP.
And that's what your gamer brain
Yeah, and,
does.
like, I see, like, oh, I'm getting, like, 75 XP for this lesson. And I'm like, and there's 5 of them, and they only take like a couple of minutes, and I'm like, that's a lot of XP, and then I'm in first, and I'm like, fuck it, might as well just keep going. And so I'm sitting at like 4,000 XP, and then I'm standing at work, and it's like,
They
whoever has just
overtook
knocked you out of first, and I'm like, motherfucker.
You take that shit
bitch.
personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them added me as a friend, and I was like,
Fuck
absolutely, go fuck, absolutely not, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I kind of get that. At some point, you've formed a rivalry with
Yeah.
someone. Like back when I gave a shit like about that, like very briefly, I was like, oh, fuck you, Angelica or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was when, because my mom's also he's using it to learn Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
At some point when he was in the Obsidian League, he changed his name to "Please let me win."
Wow.
He was like, please, I need this. Please.
Yeah, I have a family.
Because, like, people get so in my head about it. Like, and this fucking bird keeps telling you, is like, you know what Brian just did? That motherfucker.
Yeah.
That motherfucker just do what I think he did? It's like,
The
sure
the
did.
bird like sipping like a glass of wine, like, you know who just knocked you out, by the way.
Yeah. You're in 4th now. It means you're out of the top 3.
Which means you're in the stay in this league zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love its competitive nature because I started basically during COVID, so I had nothing better to do. While we were
Yeah.
in the HNC, most classes, I was just
Yeah.
me and the bird.
Honestly, that makes so much
That's
sense in
fair.
hindsight.
I was watching JoJo's. You were doing Duolingo.
I was playing Hyrule Warriors. Like straight up. Sorry to talk about like our personal history, I guess. Back in the HNC, which was our college course that we were like doing at the time when we all met. Well,
Yeah.
I had met you beforehand,
Yeah.
Michael, but when we met Melina, that class was such nothing. Was so
Yeah.
nothing
All
after
our
a while.
classes.
Yeah.
Well, we started wrapping up like the beginning of like that, like 2021 as well. Basically,
Yeah.
like the only person we had left after a while was just Mario. I want to say Electra.
I think so.
And he that was just because he would mark stuff like a month later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And give us so much time to do stuff, and we just knock stuff out early.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no point in showing up to class because, like, you know.
After a while, they all became drop-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever they were forcing us to show up and it was just like repeating the same information to us, I was just sitting watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure
Yeah,
during
exactly.
it. And I had like the volume down like that low. If I just heard Michael, I'd be like, pause. Yeah.
What?
I just pulled up my Switch at one point and just started
Yeah.
playing Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, like there was a time, in the beginning where you're like, camera on. I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
I'm listening. But you reach a point where you're like, I'm still eating breakfast. I don't want you to see me
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing for both of us. I'm here. I am listening. But know that I'm definitely doing other shit.
yeah.
I'm just a bigger fan of the recorded lectures. It's better.
Yeah.
I
We
don't
never
get
really
judged.
had those.
No.
No, I just had them when I was in uni afterwards and still did my dueling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I just was very insecure that you leave your mic on and you just hear
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I was abusing the, what do you call it? The speed challenge, I think. The match madness.
Oh, okay.
I was abusing that motherfucker. My thumbs were so fast at some point where I was like, I had this technique worked out where it's like, if you just don't progress,
Yeah.
all those within match madness words stay easy as shit.
Yeah.
And you can just do so many and you get to the top level. It's fucking easy. Double XP, 150 in a minute and a half. 150 XP. Bam. That's how I got to where I am today in the Diamond League, where I've been for years now. I'm never going back.
Moving to your New Yorker accent.
Hey! I used it in high school because I was so bad at French, which is a class I actually took and had to do exams in,
Same.
that I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll just learn more if I do it in my own time.
No.
No, because I was only doing the easy peasy class where I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I've been learning this for years. And I'm like, I got this. I know French.
I
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
I don't know if I've ever talked about the fact that I cheated every single French test.
You
that
did, and
in
I
high
hate
school.
you for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I feel like you've talked about it to
Yeah.
us. I'm not
Somehow
sure on the
still
podcast.
passed the exam with a
I-
pretty decent grade.
Man.
Yes. How?
Man.
Don't fucking know, because I
How
don't.
does one even cheat in French?
So we had written tests and we had oral tests, and I'll explain how I cheated on both of them.
Because I was
In detail.
oral exam. That's
Oral, what I would do is I would be like, there would be a list of people that would go through it, and they'd be like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay, who wants to go first, who wants to do this, blah, 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 blah. And so, like, I would just sort of let it sit, because there would be that many people in class that, like, it would take, like, a week or two to get through everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, you know, you would go through the week, and then you'd get to, like, the next week, and then the teacher would go, oh, Michael, did I do your oral exam? I was like, oh, yeah, I got this in it. And they'd be like, oh, cool, yeah.
Wow.
they took your word
Wow,
for
they
that?
believed you.
Every single time.
How many? Give me how many times?
Yeah, how many
Like,
times?
Every single oral test.
So how many?
Yeah,
one
how
a year?
many is it?
2 or 3 a year.
Oh my god!
From first to fourth year.
For 4 years.
Fucking nice.
So like, let's say 10 to 12 times, you were just like, nah, I did it.
Yeah. Yep.
I wish. Oh my god,
God,
no.
And
I wish I had the guts to do that. I never would have done that.
No, same.
And the written, you would do like a pre thing. So you would pre-write it to know
Yeah.
what you were gonna write, and you'd have to
Yeah.
try and memorize it. However, I would just write it, and then you would have like say 8 sheets of paper to write through. So you could make mistakes and start over or whatever. And
Yeah.
I would slip the pre-written part underneath,
So you just
and just
trace-
sort of
trace
like
it.
you know write or whatever, do some stuff, and then give it 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then just there you go, hand in the pre-written.
Wow.
Did you ever have to do tests that were like conjugate this verb or what? Tell me all these words translations.
yeah,
in
like
French.
written tests and stuff, and I think I passed most of them. I don't know if I cheated. I don't think we did those. I think that was just the exams,
Oh,
which you
okay.
can't cheat the exams.
Yeah, no.
So I passed that somehow. Did that at the end of 4th year and passed. But yeah, I anyone who knew me in high school who's listening to this is gonna fucking hate my guts for saying this. But yeah, I cheated every single French test that
Your
we ever
French
did.
teacher's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, my French teacher was actually French too.
Oh.
That is peak.
Yep.
That is
Oh my
diabolically peak.
Yeah. Yep.
I had a class of 6. My
Wow,
friend, so
we
I
were a
couldn't get
class
away with
of 25.
I just imagine what I had to go through. Is I was given a list of numbers and they were like,
Yeah.
tell me the numbers in French, bitch. What's 463? I'm like, oh, I don't fucking know. And then what's happening in this picture? Describe it to me. Describe this picture to me. Like, man.
Lemon.
Man. Yeah, no. And so I didn't have a good time. And then she would ask me questions about family and hobbies. And I was like, hello.
Yeah, that's the spoken part that I
Hello.
cheated by
Yeah.
not doing it and just telling them I had done it and got this grade. I never gave so I did
Never
standard
did,
grade,
yeah.
which meant that you got rated on a number system from 1 to 7. 7, you just never turned up. Like that's what you have to do to get
Yeah.
7. 6 through 1, performance based, 1 being the highest, 6 being the lowest.
Yeah.
I would just say I got like a 2. And they
Wow.
believed me every single time. So if you went back and checked my records for high school French, every single oral test would be graded as a 2. Every single one.
You evil fuck.
Yeah.
Don't know how I got away with that
Like,
for
For
4
like a
years.
second, I wanted to say something else.
Yeah. The French are so disappointed, and you don't care.
I really don't
No,
give
you
a shit.
shouldn't, yeah.
Haven't even thought about the language since I dropped it in high school.
Man.
So, God, I was like really good at making cheat sheets, so I used those. But
I'm shit at studying.
Yeah,
I
same.
think none of us like sitting down,
Yeah.
learn what it says, then do a test.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an effective learning method at all.
No.
And
It's an academic learning method, and not everyone is academic.
I don't even think it's necessarily academic. It's just made for one type of person
Mhm.
that can just memorize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just have a shit memory,
Yeah.
which me,
I don't necessarily have a shit memory. Like, that's sort of my thing, is like, if I don't commit it to memory, it's not worth learning.
Mhm.
So like, I did well in college because it was stuff I enjoyed, therefore I learned everything we needed to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
To the point that it was annoying because a lot of people would come and ask me questions, and it's like, just fucking learn the thing. Come on.
yeah.
It's not that difficult.
It's a class.
It's H264. It's not that hard.
So why?
God, it's like how for a lot of high school it seemed like I wasn't terrible at maths, but I was not the best at maths. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I say that I did Nat 5, which was like the system after like
Yeah.
the whole standard grade stuff got like completely replaced
Yeah,
with.
it was the year after me because we were the last to do.
Yeah. So I did like the National 5, which is like, you know, third year ish, and I failed that like multiple years.
Wow.
I didn't care.
But
But the reason I failed is because even though I was doing classwork that seemed pretty good, the thing is, the way I would do maths is this: I would literally just constantly copy the method, but I
yeah.
would never actually intake it.
Right.
It would always just
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like, okay, do this, and I would constantly look back at my own work to completely memorize, but I'd never be able to keep it
Yeah.
in my head.
Yeah.
So when I was doing classwork, I seemed fine. When I was trying to study,
Yeah.
it seemed fine, but it was all a fucking facade.
Yeah.
Because I was never actually taking in the information, I was just copying stuff.
Yeah.
So that when it came time for the actual tests, I just couldn't do it. I mean, I tried, but
Yeah.
like I would never get above a D or just a C even.
Yeah.
So I could never do higher maths. That was just way too much.
I mean, that's fair. I dropped English and maths before doing higher. Because I think what fucked me over in high school is that in like first year, they did like an aptitude test type thing, and we're like, oh yeah, these like 15 people are all really good at maths, so we're gonna fast track them and teach them higher from now until
Wow.
4th year. And if they
from
want to
first year?
sit, like the intermediate or standard grades, they can.
Wow.
And that really just fucked me over, because like from third year we were having to learn higher math stuff, and I hated it.
Yeah.
As soon as it started to come to like formulas and stuff, like those 2 years, I don't think I retained
Yeah.
any of the stuff that we were meant to be learning, because you're teaching it to us like fucking 4 years early.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no, I did not.
Yeah. God, that kind of reminds me of how like what my high school would do is like you'd have like different sets of like a year in a class. So like you'd have the people who are really good at a subject would
Yeah.
get like one or one's like just under that would be like first year the first one being first year of the year. So
Yeah.
first year, and then like so 1-1 first year best class, first year second class doing a little lower under that.
Yeah.
I remember there was a few times, I think it happened with maths one year where I did sort of well on the Nat 5 thing, on the Nat 5 exam, so I got put in the higher for the next year, but then I just wasn't great at that stuff
Yeah.
in class, so I got moved down. And the same thing happened in home ec, actually, funnily enough.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, home ec, that wasn't there just because I wanted to be good at it. That was me to just like brute force myself into getting familiar with food so that I
Yeah.
wouldn't, break down,
Yeah.
which actually did help.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I got my stuff out of it.
look, to this day, high school is the hardest thing I've done in my life.
Oh, I mean,
If you put the same tests in front of me, I would fail them equally as bad.
Oh,
as
I'm
you
pretty
did.
sure I would
same.
fuck up any high school.
Even if you give me more time to study, I am just not made for that shit.
yeah, same.
And it's like I think I had this revelation like 2-3 years ago where I was like, wow, I think uni is so easy. And I was talking to my younger sister about it. I was like, wow, you struggled that much during high school. She's, very academically smart. She can just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's just so hard. She's like, no, maybe it's because you're finally just doing something you like, so you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
You
Yeah.
just don't mind learning because learning doesn't feel like learning.
Yeah. College and like university is such a different
Yeah.
foundational way to like learn something from high school, and like primary school it's just like standard tests and stuff, and like everyone, it's like a one size fits all in high school, whereas like when you get college and university, it feels whatever you like go for is going to be naturally more catered to you because you want to do it, and you're basically selecting yourself for it.
Yeah.
If that made any sense.
It's funny. I was going to talk about like how college and stuff is like you said, it's like you're doing something you enjoy and talk about our experience. And I'm like, most of it, we learn how to plug the thing into the right place, which is, you would be surprised how many people couldn't comprehend that in and of itself.
I would love to just say, so same as you, Melina, I'd say high school is the hardest thing that I've done. Not just like academically, but like emotionally as well. That's a whole rabbit hole going to my own mental health.
The whole stress of, I just can't do it. I can study as hard as I want, and I could never be the best at this. I could never.
There's always
do
someone
this.
better than you in like a class or whatever, and it's like, but even then, even if you are the best in class, you've got the pressure to stay on top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me in English.
Yeah, because like in computing, I think in my 4th year, I was like doing pretty well at Nat 5, like computing. I got like an A on that. I was doing good. Then I got moved to the higher, and suddenly I was bumped all the way down to C. And I remember my teacher, he was a very nice guy, a bit not like crazy, but like he was a computing teacher who had a weird obsession with Apple.
Of course he did.
Yeah, so but he was really nice, and like he wasn't like a bad teacher, but like the next year he came up to me like when I was in another class, and he saw that like I wasn't getting A's or like that level of work, and he was like, "What happened, man?" And I was like, I'm just not that good at higher stuff. I was basically copying some of my friends at that point. Which, to be fair, is how you actually do that stuff in the real world. But but that's when imposter syndrome then came in, and that's why I didn't do computing after that. 'Cause I was like, I feel like such a fraud. I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just copying people or looking up on Google. Not knowing that's how a lot of people do it.
I just feel so bad for my teachers at times as well, because I was like, I think you're such a fun person. You're such a good teacher. I can recognize that, but none of what you're saying is hitting me, and it's not your fault. Like I would be such good friends with like my economics teachers. They were always so nice. I could have a good chat with them. Then the first test of the year came around, they're like, you got a 2 out of 10? What happened? I'm like, I just don't get it. I think conceptually economics is so fascinating, but if you ask me to do a single formula or ask me what any of it means, I blank.
My home ec teacher, after I got moved down from like the higher stuff from there, she was one of the best teachers I've ever had, just because she was really fun, and she was, we had like a good sort of like, fun sort of way she taught me, and like she always just sort of like smiled whenever I came into class, because even though I wasn't the best at the class, I was fun. Like I was like it was amazing how much I could like not fuck up, but just like be a brainless dumbass sometimes and stuff. There was one time I took like a plastic bowl, accidentally put it on the stove. It was like
we've all been there.
It was
we haven't.
No, we haven't. That's a fucking lie. Literally no one else. I don't think anyone else in my high school has ever done that. And
I've never.
I felt like such an idiot. And like if it was any other teacher, I would have broke down and like been quiet and just been so angry at myself. But because it was her specifically, she just immediately saw it happen, came and took it off, didn't say anything to me, and I was just like,
you get it. You get it.
She just we sort of both laughed. Miss Bird, I don't know where you are, but you were a real one.
Big shout out.
My biology teacher was the same. I fucking sucked at like higher biology and stuff. I just sucked at hires in general. I didn't get a single one. I left high school at the end of 5th year because of it. I wasn't redoing them. I think I would have killed myself if I did.
I mean, real for high school.
Yeah.
But like Mr. Lethem, my biology teacher, like he was great. He was amazing as like a teacher. It's just I fundamentally was not good or cut out for the subject.
Yeah.
I think at that point I had realised high school and academia in the form that high school takes was not for me.
Yeah.
It was not something I was fundamentally cut out to do. And he would still try and get me to engage and study and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I respect that, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
He was a great guy, really great personality. I remember like his wife was pregnant at the time we were studying for hires. And he actually came in after his wife had given birth, like no sleep, to come in and take a lesson for us. And I just remember like, because of when I was in high school, like the digital draw board things were still new.
The smart boards.
Smart boards,
Yeah.
yes. They were still new. They were still glitchy as fuck. So they 90% of the time it didn't work.
Yeah, and you still had the whiteboard next to it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, fuck it, back to the whiteboard.
So he's
yeah.
trying to like draw on the whiteboard and stuff and try and smartboard and stuff and try and get stuff to work. And he just like was like, fuck it, and threw the pen like across the room, and we were just all sitting in the front like,
Oh, that's so real though.
yeah. And he's like, I'm sorry about that. And they just went on with the lesson, and we were like, yeah, no fair. You've just had a
Yeah.
kid.
We respect it.
Yep.
That's cool. That's cool. We will not say this at any point
Yeah.
if anybody asks.
He just started laughing, and so did we, because we were like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's insane.
That's so real.
Yeah.
I had the worst class in my second year of high school because I was taking like a type of the education where it was like partially focused on woodworking and stuff like that, and that was 24 boys and 6 women.
Jesus.
6 girls.
Wow.
So you can imagine the amount of teenage testosterone in
Yeah.
those classrooms were not great. We were the nightmare of that year. And I still remember our poor German teacher. She tried anything. We had to do our homework. She would give us stickers if we did it, just to motivate us. And this one moment sticks out in my mind forever because it's really funny, but it's so sad in a way as well. Where she just couldn't get everyone's attention. Everyone was yelling. So she just stood up on a table, yelled, "Quiet!" And it went quiet for a second. She stood there on her table, and then we all just started singing "Happy Birthday"
What?
Why?
because she was standing on a table. And
What's the correlation?
What?
no, because it's a thing we do. You stand on the chair in front of the class. Everyone sings "Happy Birthday"
That's not.
Okay.
on your birthday. It's-
Yeah, I would like to think so.
I hope so. Yeah.
But just an entire class looks at this lady, clearly frustrated, and just doesn't know what to do. She stands there. It's quiet, and just one kid starts, "Happy Birthday."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you could tell she had to laugh about it, but
Yeah.
couldn't because she had to control.
Because the only alternative would have been to strangle
Yeah.
like people.
Yeah, no, I don't know how any teacher of mine got through that year, except for PE. PE was kind of fun that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a dressing room with just 6 of us girls,
Jesus.
fantastic, fan-fucking-tastic. God. No, like the only thing I would say I miss from high school is just you see the same people every day.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
You go in, and that's just a bond you don't get anywhere else.
No.
Even uni, you don't go in
Yeah.
5 days a week. You just don't get that after
Yeah.
that. It's like you're forced to just kind of be around the same people. Like after you leave or like you reach the end of your course, you're not friends with all your classmates,
No.
but you know them. You can talk to any one of your classmates
Yeah.
about something,
Uh-huh.
and it's not great conversation at the time, but you've gone through so much with
Yeah.
these people, you just kind of know them.
Uh-huh.
That's sweet.
I feel like this is the part where I sort of reveal how fucked up my high school experience was. Just like, for me personally.
Yeah.
Like, and just like, because I can't really relate to that because, to give context, so all throughout like my primary school, which was, P1 to 7, that's like when you're about 5 to 12.
Yeah,
that's
we do a similar thing. Yeah.
That's a very long time. And
Yeah.
like, the thing was my class was like, sort of like tight knit. So I had like a good bond with like basically every other classmate. I believed at the time that like every single one of my classmates was like my friend or something like that. Then high school came and everyone had a change of personality.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Every single one had like from my perspective, everyone became a fucking arsehole. But I didn't change.
Yeah.
I barely changed. So from my perspective, it felt like,
Why is everyone doing this?
yeah, why does everyone do this? But from my perspective, it was really, really bad, and it felt like I had gone from like 20 plus friends to nobody.
Because do you go to high school with the same people?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I've talked about this before. We have like different levels of education once you get to like high school. So it's like difficulty levels, and within that you also have public and Christian schools, so you can go to either
we do
or.
have something similar here.
Yeah,
but
yeah. But
So
it's like Catholic schools specifically.
Yeah, like my class, from my class of let's say 25 kids, I was only in the same building with maybe 7 of them.
Wow.
And I think all of them, except for one, was in the higher level, and I was in the one below it.
Okay.
So yeah, there's this one kid that I went to school with from 4 years old until 17 years
Jesus.
old.
Yeah.
I wasn't like friends with him, but it was just like, I've known you so long at this point.
There's a strange bond.
Yeah.
There,
Whenever I see him, I'm like, we've gone through too much of this
Yeah.
life.
From my thing, I think most of the people in my primary school class went to the high school that I did, but like it was to do with like catchment areas and stuff.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
But like my catchment area was actually the other high school that was in that area, and like I would have naturally gone to there, but most of my friends at the time I would have said went to the other high school. But then when I got to that high school, I wasn't friends with any of them.
Yeah.
By like the end of that first year, apart from maybe one or basically really only one, and he was basically a completely different person anyway. Good for him, he was fine. He definitely found more of himself in high school, but I felt like I was just so fundamentally different from everyone at that point. And like looking back, I put it into context with some stuff I am figuring out for myself recently as well. You two both know, but I'm not gonna say
That's fine.
but like, and that made the whole other stuff going on as well, like puberty and stuff, so much worse. My mental health went from I was a pretty normal kid to I was pretty suicidal at 12, 13.
That's crazy.
And that hung over my head throughout all of high school. Like that just depressive episode. It got slightly better. I wasn't super suicidal by like year 3, but like there were times where if anything got any worse, I might not be here today. And that's like, not to make this a really real depressing episode, but I was so fucking close.
Jesus.
Sometimes, and like high school fucked me up. Is what I think when I look back at it. It did get slightly better.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where outside of maybe 1 or 2 people, I had no real connection with anyone. No real friends.
Yeah.
Any friends I did sort of make was mainly surface level. Sort of like, you know, they'd never talk to me. I'd never talk. They'd barely talk to me in school.
Yeah.
Most people either didn't know I existed or thought I was someone else in my class who looked sort of similar to me.
Right.
So for most people, I wasn't a person.
Jesus.
So I felt like a ghost for all of that, and it really fucked me up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that like sort of fed into it. I got more isolated. It's kind of hard to talk about.
Yeah.
So
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sort of spiraling into a
yeah.
really dark place in this episode. I'm very sorry, but like it still really affects how I look back at high school. And even though there were some not so bad moments, it's hard to like get away from that cloud whenever I look back at it.
It'll overshadow a lot of it. Of course it would. Yeah.
So that's why a lot of high school, it's hard to talk about unless I'm like trying to like lighten it up or trying to joke about it, because it sucked.
Yeah.
It just really sucked, and I didn't get out of really that whole funk until college. And even then, the summer between the end of high school and college was also a really bad time for me, because in my head, college was like, it was the next level up, which means, you know, harder.
You have to
gotta
work harder.
focus.
It's going to be more difficult.
Exactly, and like I was.
Which is how they always try to paint it.
Yeah, they're not going to take this shit in college. They're not gonna-
Exactly, and like. I had heard like some stories like, oh, you know, college isn't that bad, but like in my head I'm thinking worst case scenario because I'm in a terrible place. And it's like, if you remember when we met in that first year of college, I was just terrified.
Yeah.
Like of everything. It was only until like the end of that year where I started like really healing and being like, this actually isn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually doing quite fine
Yeah.
here. I feel sort of chill here. It wasn't until, funnily enough, the pandemic,
Yeah.
where we had all that time for just me and you to talk
Yeah.
specifically and just like form that actual friendship. And like then they hit the HNC and stuff, and really only the last few years I felt like I've really brightened up
Yeah.
and gotten back to where I feel mostly healthy,
Yeah.
give or
I
take.
mean, it's
Yeah,
a
I
journey.
mean-
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I will say high school was the worst years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd still stick to that, and it wasn't until after high school that I felt like an actual human being again.
Yeah.
Along with, you know, the other stuff that's
Yeah.
gone
Yeah.
on, but you know, never felt as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to bring down the
No,
tone.
I mean, you're all good.
That just all came out of me.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
building up the moment we started talking about high school, and I was like, I need to unleash this like
Yeah.
somewhere because it's gonna
Absolutely.
fester inside me if I don't.
Yeah.
So maybe a content warning for this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Dark topics.
Yeah.
I like during high school, everyone's going through so many things, and they're like, "This is the time where we're gonna just put everyone in a new environment."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a great idea, guys. And what if someone just doesn't belong in this type of world of education?
Mhm.
What are we gonna do? Force them through it.
Yep.
What
Yep.
what if we put someone who doesn't belong in this type of education and doesn't feel like they don't connect with anybody
Yeah.
else in
Yeah.
what feels like the entire area almost.
What have you tried going outside? Like I heard that's like
Oh, have I?
yeah, I think that's just gonna solve your
Have I?
problems. Yeah. It's
I don't want to paint it as like too woe is me, because I did have like some connections with some people.
Yeah.
Again, sort of very surface level friendships, and like I did have two friends at the time that I've talked about before. One I don't really speak to anymore, and the other I've only speak to very occasionally.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lewis, if you're out there listening. You're very busy, I know, but
I think it comes very naturally, like
Yeah.
because I
and it doesn't
yeah.
feel like any sort of like spite, like
no,
between
absolutely
like
not.
one
no.
of them specifically, but
Yeah.
like it just sort of happens that like we fade away and
Mhm.
stuff, and like right now I feel like you two are my main friends.
Yeah.
Bestie.
And I'm bestie.
Hey, yes, yes.
And I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all I need.
that makes. I just need the two.
Yeah.
I'm the bestie. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
I say that like I don't talk to you a lot
Yeah,
more.
I'm just here
Like,
knowing.
I know
She
that
doesn't-
you guys talk like every single day.
She doesn't know we message all the fucking time.
Yeah, I don't need to say this shit because like I just be here knowing.
Yeah.
Sure, girl. Whatever.
Bestie.
Hey,
Bestie.
bestie. Like I think it's so normal, and I think people get too hung up on it. It's like, oh, I don't talk to anyone from high school anymore. I was like, that's kind of normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I talk to my high school friends once every 2-3 years.
Okay.
Whenever-
you
yeah.
moved.
I can't.
Fire fucking away.
You moved over.
But because I failed high school the first time around, all my friends passed.
Okay. Yeah.
They moved on to uni, and I was there. I have to go to a new school. I have no friends. Can we please hang out? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I just got into this university. I don't really have the time. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool. Text me when you're free. Please?
Yeah.
So I just went from having this tight-knit
Yeah.
group to,
Yeah.
can we hang out this
Yeah.
weekend? I said, oh, you're worried. Oh, I forgot you went to the uni that's far. Okay.
Yeah. I forgot you were in another country.
Gosh, shit. And then I did that. Yeah.
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 You originally went to a whole different continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like a year after they all graduated. A year and a half.
Still.
Yeah.
Still, that's like a whole continent away.
Hey.
That is the Atlantic Ocean,
Yeah.
bestie.
Yeah, no, I have this thing where if I don't know what I'm doing, I tend to just kind of leave everything behind and like, oh, what's happening over there? Maybe that's
I mean,
cool.
Insane.
I mean, sometimes
It's my panic response.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. When I was in my funk, as I'll call it from now on, there were a lot of times where I thought I could just run somewhere
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
I could try and get the money that I have from like Christmas stuff, just move to another country, run away. I'd never do that because I didn't want to terrify my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
Look,
I thought about it a lot of times.
I legit was like, okay, I have to go to a new school after I failed my exams and all that. I'm like, well, everyone's gonna go to the one that's like really close by. What if I go to the one that's like further away. No one's gonna be there. I'll just be able to reinvent myself. Proceeded to like not do that and not talk to anyone for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
I was
try.
like, this is gonna be my year. I'm gonna be with everyone. Why is no one talking to me? Oh, everyone knows each other here.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
I didn't think this through.
Yeah.
I did not think this through.
You land
Shit.
in New York City and you're like, I don't know anyone here. Oh god.
See, that was the fun thing about like moving when I lived in the States for a bit. Most people came there by themselves.
Yeah.
So everyone was kind of like, be my friend. You know, you have your day one friends,
Yeah.
your roommates.
Yeah.
You have where you're like, okay, you know, first 2 days we're gonna have to hang out because you're the only people I
Yeah.
know. And then slowly you just stop talking to them. You have the friends you make the first 2 days, and then you're like, actually, we don't really click,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
at all. Nothing personal, guys. It's just it doesn't work. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's crazy though.
Mm-hmm.
I do think about sometimes, like, now that I'm out with my funk.
Yeah.
I do think about sometimes, like, what if I ran into someone who was, like, in classes I had in high school, and, like, how would that go now that I feel like an actual person?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I could have, like, not be friends with them, but just be like, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? And
Yeah.
stuff. Like, because there are a few people I wouldn't mind seeing again in my life from that era. There was this one guy, he was like one of like 3 or 4 Connors in my year because it's a really common name.
Yeah.
Barbie.
Yeah.
I was like the 3rd Shaun in that whole school, by the way. But like, his name was Connor, and like at first, on the first year we really like started talking, he was sort of, I don't want to say my bully, but like he was a bit of a dick
Yeah.
sometimes, and he would get on my nerves, and that was funny. But like as we got older, he would be like, you know, I don't like hate you or anything,
Yeah.
or like, and like we'd have like a whole sort of, not, it's hard to say like a friendship, but like a sort of, you know, respect
Yeah.
for each other. So like by the end of like when I was at my Libras dance, I like give him a high five and stuff, and like, you know, sort of bro hug almost.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing him again. He'd be cool. If you're ever out there, Connor, and you're somehow listening to this,
You should know if you're the right Connor.
you're cool.
Yeah.
I still think you're cool, man. I don't know if we'll ever meet again.
Like, I wouldn't want to go to a high school reunion. I don't think that's fun.
Oh
But
yeah,
if I just ran into someone that I was like, you know, I wanted to be your friend, or I just think you were cool, I would talk.
Yeah.
There's some people where I'm like, oh, I feel like you're more annoying and
yeah,
miserable
that's
than
the
you were
thing.
now.
Like, oh, you've got somehow gone worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just show up to the high school. If I ever decided to do that, I'd show up as a completely different person.
Oh, I mean, it'd be tempting to show up completely insane and just be like, I own a zoo. Just pull
Why
some
not?
zany
Sure.
shit out.
I
And they're
guess.
like,
Yeah, you're never gonna meet those people again.
yeah, just be like, oh no, I'm a full-time clown. And they're like, oh, like in hospitals to cheer up kids. I was like,
Nah.
no, I have like this solo act.
I
that
ran away
do.
with the circus.
Yeah, I ran away with the circus. It's been, oh, you wouldn't even know, man.
Yeah.
I live in a small town. I can't do that.
Ah.
Everyone knows
I
you.
still know most or some of the people I went to high school with. I work with a couple of them now. So like, yeah,
Oh, you can't.
You can't
I
escape.
can escape, and like it's mostly fine. One of them's actually my fucking boss now.
Wow.
Do they go on a power trip about it?
Nah, they're fine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they're actually one of the best bosses I've ever had.
Oh, neat.
But like, yeah, it's weird because I still live in this small town. I still see everyone all the time, but I don't really talk to anyone anymore, other than the people I work with. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
different. One of them, trying to avoid as much as I can.
As you do.
As you
Yeah, of
do.
course. There's always a few where you're like,
There's always a few.
you have an unspoken rule. It's like, we both know that we know.
Oh,
each
I
other
don't.
full on.
I don't think it's unspoken on their side.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
No, cool.
I
I think I'm the only one thinking.
there are still like 1 or 2 people, obviously from my high school, I would never want to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's people that work in stores of like the town next to mine,
Mm-hmm.
and if I see them, I'm like, it's
Yeah.
been too long
Uh huh.
that I'm like, I don't want you to think that I don't remember you, but I
Mhm.
also am like, what if you don't remember me?
Yeah.
Because I've had it happen that on the bus home from my second high school, I saw a girl who like was in the old high school with me, and I knew her, but I didn't remember her goddamn name.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I knew everything. I was like, I know what you're studying now.
Mhm.
I know where you live. Not in a threatening way, just the town. I was like, and I need to sit next to you because we kind of know each other, and it's a
Yeah.
very full bus.
Mm.
But if I have to say your name at any point, I'm gonna be so fucked.
I would legitimately try and stay away as far as possible. There are some people I would feign that like I just completely forgot who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they tried to talk to me, I'd be like, who are you again? And sometimes it's real because I had a moment like just last week where I thought back to something from high school and like I remembered a specific person. And like she was like some of the few people like I wasn't friends with her, but I thought she was like cool and stuff. And like I had a moment where I was just like, I don't remember her name. I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
What the fuck was her name? It took me like 10 minutes to go, oh, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have it all the time where I'm like, I should remember this. I spent so many years with these people.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh god.
It was at that moment I was like, how much of high school have I repressed?
Yeah. Wow.
Actually, someone I
Education's
went to high school is now my postie.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like I got a
Wow.
knock on the door the other day, like last week, for a package that I was getting delivered, and I opened it, and I'm just like, oh.
It's you.
She just handed it to me, and walked away, and I was like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what's worse though? I had this happen to me. It was like a girls in STEM day. Go to see a factory. Woo.
Hell yeah.
And
Okay.
I was there with a bunch of classmates. And this lady was just being really nice to me. Like, that was given the tour. And I was just like, yeah. And then she just went, you don't remember me, do you? I'm like,
That's terrifying.
That is the worst thing you can hear.
Yeah.
and I was like 13, 14. I'm like,
oh my
no,
god.
it was like, oh, I'm so-and-so's mom. I was like, oh, this girl that I was friends with.
I had the opposite thing
This
happen
is the
to
thing.
me one
Parents
time.
expect you to remember them, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not
No,
fucking remembering
no.
you.
Yeah,
I
I remember the toys this kid had that I
Yeah.
wanted to steal.
Yeah, I had the opposite thing happen to me the one time
No.
in high school, like the exam, because my thing about the exam. So, a little bit of personal history for me again as well, because we haven't had enough in that in this episode. But it's more lighthearted, I promise. So, during high school, this was when I got diagnosed with dyslexia and stuff.
Which you've overcome.
Yeah, somehow I got retested for that in high school, and it came up as either it's gone or you've just found strategies to, like it's not there at all.
You've beat dyslexia.
What?
I don't know what the fuck happened. We talked about
Yeah,
this.
I know, but it still baffles me because every dyslexic I know is just fucking dyslexic for life. Like, they're, no offense to them, they're
He's
all
special.
the biggest fucking
I do-
idiots I
no,
know.
exactly.
He's special. He beat dyslexia.
I don't know if somehow I locked in on those tests at that specific time, or if like
All the words just start to actually form
yeah, it was
properly.
like wait a minute, or you know what I think it is?
To read.
You know what no, you genuinely know what I think it is? I think I had something else wrong with me and it just like
Yeah.
appeared like in
Yeah.
that moment in high
Uh-huh.
school because again I had a lot of shit going on.
Imagine being that test person that was like specialized in dyslexia, and she just goes,
I've never
Sure.
seen this before.
Sure. But yeah, anyway, the point is I got a reader and a scribe for like my test and I got like a separate room, like
Yeah.
extra time for exams and stuff. But like the person who was I think I'm not the reader of the maybe the scribe. Is he the reader, the scribe, or like the person from like the SQA who's like the moderator or whatever?
The
that had, like-
invigilator.
The
Yeah.
invigilator. Here was she was the mum of not someone in my class from primary school, but in the opposite class.
Right,
Like I vaguely,
okay.
I vaguely knew who she was, like the person in the class,
Yeah.
and like I recognized her as the mum of that person,
Yeah.
but she didn't recognize me.
Oh.
So
well, as a kid, you're not gonna go up.
yeah, exactly. Like of course
Yeah.
not, but like the thing is, she sort of figured it out like 10 minutes later, and I was like, wait, hold on, are you from? Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I knew your daughter at one point,
Yeah.
so it was like, oh wow, that's cool, and I was like, wow, that's this is the most I ever talked to you as a person.
Yeah.
Like, you were just a figure. That
Yeah,
was
I'm surprised I remember you, quite frankly. But yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
And that was like my last like exam of high school as
Damn.
well. So that's one of my closing memories of high school.
That's
Yeah, before I exited the building and promptly told the entire building to fuck off
Yeah.
as I walked away. Never coming back here again.
I remember going in for my last exam and like it was like, study leave exams, all that sort of shit. And like going in, I just wear jeans or whatever, like black jeans. And I remember going on the last day. It was my last ever day because that day after I finished my exam, I was going to go around and get all of my teachers to sign my leaver slip. Because like if you're leaving before the end of 6th year,
Yeah.
once you turn 16, you can leave at any point in Scottish schools. You still had to go around and get teachers to sign your
To prove that
yeah.
you're-
Who's gonna not sign though?
Exactly.
Fuck you,
no.
little dumb
No,
shit,
you will stay here.
So we have that until 18.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
because, like, legally you're an adult in Scotland. once
yeah,
you're
and
16.
like
yeah.
the UK overall,
Yeah.
16 is a lot more of the
Uh-huh.
adult age than
Yeah.
like 18 unless you're like drinking.
Mhm. So I go in, I'm signing, like, the attendance sheet if you're going in for an exam or whatever, and the headmaster happens to be there, and he just looks at me and goes, you know, you should wear trousers next time you're in. And I went, good thing this is the last time I'm going to be in.
Guess
I
what
just
that
walked away.
Based! That is badass!
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know if I'm going to give you a high five or a bro fist. That is like the coolest thing you could have said though. Oh, well, good thing I'm not fucking coming back then.
You should have just pulled him down and be like, better.
I feel like that would get you arrested.
That would have got me in trouble. Yes, I was 16. I could
Yeah,
not legally
no.
do that.
Aw.
Even now, I feel like
Yeah.
No. God, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I still remember, like, I'm very good at bullshitting my way through oral exams and stuff.
Mhm.
Usually. Not when it's about books I haven't read.
Wow.
And this is a thing we have to do in the Netherlands. I think it's good. I hate it, but it's good. You have to read, I believe it's 4 books from an approved list of books. Because it has to be original Dutch word. Cannot be, oh, I'm reading The Hunger
okay.
Games.
Okay, I was like,
in
what
Dutch,
books did
yeah.
you ban?
Yeah, it's not like that. So
Got to be slim pickings.
it's not a huge selection, but there's a good,
Yeah.
like, they'll have something for
I mean,
everyone.
what does Dutch literature have of any worth anyway?
I read 1 out of 4.
Oh, fuck.
I watched the trailer for one of them,
Jesus Christ.
a summary for another.
Oh my
The
god.
4th, I read the title. You try to bullshit your way through
Oh my
a
god.
question. It's like, so this book's called The Drummer. Why do you think he chose that title? And not even knowing what the fucking story
Oh my
is about.
god. You didn't even read the back of the book. You
I-
just read the title.
I read like half of the back of the book, but it was a really bad back
How
of the book.
half? Because there's like
Skimmed it. Look, it was not great. I had to redo like my Dutch class in the
No
second
shit.
high school. And I had such a long commute that I was forced to read the books at this time.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. Whatever I said in that first meeting, he should have laughed in my face.
yeah.
I mean, he probably was. He just couldn't show it.
Because they were like, oh, how are we going to do this? Have 3 students at the same time, but they've all read different books.
Oh.
So this teacher is basically interviewing 3 students at
Jesus.
once.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and so afterwards I asked my classmates, because, you know, around exam time you kind of start chatting a bit with
Yeah.
each other, and I legit went, could you tell? Could you tell I didn't read it? Like, nah, I have no idea.
But they hadn't read that book either.
No. So for some reason I was like, well, if they don't notice,
Yeah, exactly.
he's not going to notice. Because how many books has my teacher read? I don't know.
Oh, a Dutch teacher? Probably, you
All
know.
of the books. All the books.
Every book known to man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more.
Yeah. Meanwhile, my English oral exam, I just showed up 0 prep and was like, sup, let's go.
Let's do this.
Uh,
Chugs Red Bull.
Yeah.
What
Wait,
does she know?
what you want to talk about today, bitch? Yeah, no, I love my English oral exams. I didn't have to do shit. I just showed up and I was like, so, where's the library at, huh? Oh, well, okay, you want to ask me where the library at? Like, let me give you directions while you listen to me and are like, okay, this is stupid. We both recognize this is a stupid thing. I loved English class.
I bet you did.
Yeah, I mean, you are sitting here fluently speaking English.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just had a great time because my teachers just realized there was no point.
Yeah.
They're just like, as long as you're not a nuisance, I don't really care
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah.
Like, I never did a single piece of homework.
I mean, you realize we forget, or I don't know if Shaun does this, I forget that you are Dutch.
I had that moment where I was like, in Dutch class, I'm like, oh yeah, that's just English
That's-
for
that's
you.
Yeah.
And when
my
you're
main
saying
fun.
English class, you mean learning the language.
Yeah. It's so fun. I wish I could write about it in some way, because having to like read a text with your entire class
Mhm.
and everyone's kind of like struggling, it's like mispronouncing, and I'm like, this feels like I'm cheating in some sort of way, but apparently it's not.
No, you're cheating using your brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just like so smart. I'm failing all other subjects while we're at it, but
Yeah.
they're like, wow, you're really good at
I
this
mean, that's
one
like
thing.
if someone was raised like say when I was at high school, someone in my class was raised bilingual in French. Like just because they are good at French, it's not cheating. It's just
No.
that they happen to
They
also
know
be
French.
French. Yeah.
I have a Russian friend who requested to take Russian as one of her foreign languages, and they told her no.
Well, yeah, that's
Aw.
fair.
Yeah.
One, because their school didn't offer it, because you
Yeah.
didn't have enough students.
Uh-huh.
And second, they said, "Oh, come on,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah.
come on." I mean, her English was like as good as mine.
Uh-huh.
So we were like, "No, you're not fucking. You're fine. Come on." Yeah, take your funny note.
Wait, hold on. Let's backtrack a second here. One of our 4 languages?
That's a good point.
Foreign.
Oh, foreign.
I thought you said 4 as well.
Yeah, no, that's-
I didn't even clock it was
Yeah.
a weird thing though.
That accent in me, you know.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
4? It's like, I
Wait,
barely know
nice.
one.
We can't understand you for that thick Dutch accent. you
Yeah,
have,
my
Melina.
very thick Dutch accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part of which state of Dutch land are you from?
Ohio.
I knew it. I was hoping.
It's always Ohio.
I was hoping you'd say Ohio.
Yes. No.
I'm never saying Dutchland again. That felt dirty to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Different country.
Look, the stereotype of people being friends with their English teachers, even when it's supposedly a foreign language, I feel that. I feel that.
I hated
That's a-
my English teacher.
Really?
I mean,
It's like
yeah.
a thing that like English teachers are the teacher you just rant to.
No.
And you're like, oh, I have to write
All
this
of
Are we
my
talking
English-
about English
Dumb.
teachers and someone who teaches you English, or like our version of English
Yeah, that's.
teacher?
But
Both.
no,
No,
all
no,
of my
no.
English teachers
Really?
were old witches. They were fucking horrible people.
Okay, hold on.
Wow.
No, I can say I can like be on the two sides of this because one English teacher I had, she was really nice.
Mhm.
I really liked her, and she was like really proud of me. Like the
Yeah.
next year when I got like an
Yeah.
A in her class, she came up to me and be like, you know, I'm really like happy that
Mhm.
you got that. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. She was one of my favorite teachers of like in all of high school. Again, because of my mental state in high school, I can't remember her name,
Oh,
Aw.
and I feel so bad about
Yeah.
that. I'm so sorry wherever you are, but you were
Mhm.
amazing. Next English teacher after that, I didn't hate him, but like
They gotta
sometimes
make
there are
it
just
fun, yeah.
teachers who like either you don't click with or they just get on your nerves.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And like
absolutely.
this guy as well. This is the English teacher who like I had in like the first year of high school, didn't have for a few years, then had again throughout higher English both years because I had to redo higher
Yeah.
English because I got a D the first time, and like. I don't know what it is about him. I don't think he meant to be malicious to me, but sometimes it felt like he was picking me out
Mm,
for no reason and like just like getting on me for no reason.
Yeah.
And I was there are some legitimate times where he's one of the few teachers I was like, dude, fuck off.
mhm.
Stop
Yeah.
picking on me for this. Clearly I'm either mispronouncing this
Yeah.
word wrong because the way I speak has not changed
Mhm.
since high school. You know how much I can just get shit wrong
Yeah.
sometimes. And like I don't know, I got like either I think it was the words like it was either erratic or ecstatic or something like that. I like just fucked up one time, and for the rest of that class, he kept bringing that back up to me like it was a running joke. And I was at one point I was legit ready to just go fuck off, you prick.
Like, no one is laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I legit.
Ew.
I
Don't
legit.
bully a child.
Yeah.
The guy that was like I sort of bully for like a year was in that same class, and at one point I legit turned to him and being like, "What the fuck is going on here? He's doing your job."
Can you pick up your job? He's picking up your
Yeah,
slack.
like I prefer if it went back to you, my guy.
Oh.
I was so angry in that class.
Yeah.
Our English teacher, the first one, was that like, the only word I can use is evil. That
Whoa.
like, I think a group of about half of the class went and actually complained to the headmaster.
Wow.
And because we were high school students, they didn't give a fuck. They didn't take us
they're like,
seriously.
You don't have an
just
opinion that's
don't
worth
like,
anything.
You just don't
Uh,
like that they're grading
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. She eventually like went off like, and she just disappeared for a bit. We never got an explanation as to what happened. I don't know if she was off
that's
sick. I don't know like, and this was like third year.
This reminds me of a certain lecturer we had once.
So this happened like third year, and then it wasn't until fourth year that they gave us like a new English teacher. Which, you know, not great. Third and fourth year are your big years leading up to the exams.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so we just suddenly had to switch to a new English teacher during that last year, which means she didn't know any of us. We didn't really know her. She was also a bit of an evil witch.
But she didn't have the personal, like baggage on you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like the vindictiveness. Or...
Yeah, she was still just bad. But like by fourth year, like so much of it was just you were kind of just left to your own devices. You were either like reading whatever you needed to read for the exam, or just fucking going over shit, you know, trying to study or whatever.
Study whatever the kids do these days.
Yeah, sure. Studying.
Our first one just was like so bad though, as like an English teacher, because like I fundamentally in first and second year didn't really comprehend like or understand how to write essays. It was something I really struggled with until I hit college, actually.
Wow.
And she just would never explain it, and she would just be like, just do it.
Just
you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah, just do this.
Just
here's the structure,
write
and I'm
the
like,
essay.
okay, but I don't. You're showing me the structure, but I don't know how to then
do that.
write within that
Yeah.
structure.
Like how to make it your own, how to build it.
And she's like, okay, so write a 1,000 word essay, and I could write maybe like 200, and it would put across all the things I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But I couldn't fit it into that structure to make 1,000 words. So like,
or like the certain paragraphs you're supposed to make that have a certain like you're supposed to start with this sentence or whatever.
Flow a certain
In this
way,
essay,
they
I
link up until all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh.
In conclusion and all that.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I hated reading and writing in high school because of that, though.
I found it sort of just an easy like thing to do. Like, oh, I could just do that. That's not even worth thinking about. So I just saw it as an easy like win whenever it came up. But like, I didn't. That doesn't mean I enjoyed it. I didn't actively feel like I was putting anything personal in any of my essays until college.
Yeah.
You know, when we were doing something I actually was enjoying.
Well, yeah. Like, I think just the biggest shout out to teachers that want to teach you and don't make you feel bad for being bad at a subject.
Shout out to my history teacher, Mr. Lindbergh. He was the best teacher I ever had.
Shout out to another teacher I want to say. When I was doing GraphCom for like in my last year of high school, I was just picking that to fill out like time. But at my GraphCom, Mr. Feehan, he was cool. He was Irish. he had a laugh. He was fantastic. He was like one of my best friends in like my last year of high school. I don't know if that's sad, but like he was great and I miss him.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Meyer, my economics teacher, who I became such good friends with, and we both could laugh about the fact how bad I was at economics.
Wow.
Yeah.
He hooked me up to get my first in-school like theater directing gig.
Wow.
He just recommended me. He was like, I think she could do it. I'd never shown any interest in it. He was like, I think she could do it. And I was like, if you say so, sir. You know
she
I'm
looks
failing.
bossy enough.
Yeah, sure.
She looks like a bitch.
She can command.
And all my English teachers for just letting me not do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Another
Shout out.
Another shout out to my drama teacher for first year at the very least, Mrs. White. I was in a dark place, but that one class was the one class I actually felt like I was having fun.
Yeah.
So
Make your classes fun. I know kids are supposed to learn, but not dreading a class that you're bad at is such a superpower to have.
Yeah.
Because you'll be forced to learn while not feeling like you're being forced to learn.
yeah.
Like history, I'm so bad at it. Like geography, horrible at it. But when you just are a nice teacher and you can have a good time, I don't feel bad about being really bad at your subject.
Flip side, wasn't bad at French, but fuck you to the Spanish French teacher I had through fourth year. You were just a terrible person.
Wow.
Like straight up bullied one of the students.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just a terrible person, terrible teacher. Can't remember her name.
Fuck her.
Doesn't deserve to be
Yeah,
No.
I'm pretty thankful that my French and Spanish teachers, because I switched to Spanish in like third year, they were pretty fine most of the time.
Yeah.
My French teacher for the first 2 years, Miss Towers, I think her name was. I'm pretty sure her name was. Well, she was really nice. I wasn't the best at those languages at all, but she was really nice. We had fun. She was really sad when I picked Spanish the next year.
Oh.
But that's just because, you know, some of the surface friends that I had were going into Spanish, and I was like, I don't care anything about this. I want to at least try and have fun while I'm there. And the Spanish teachers I had, they were mostly fine.
Yeah.
But like another French teacher I had as well, who was actually French. I forget his name, but like he was cool. We didn't talk much, but I just remember this one time, like we talked about Game of Thrones because season 6 was airing at the time, and like I had watched a little bit of like the episode that come out that day, and he had watched a little bit as well. And I was the only one in the class that had saw it, and I think it was the episode when the Hound came back.
Right.
So we sort of talked about like I didn't expect that to come back. I was like, I know. That was a good class.
See, that's how you're a good teacher.
Yeah.
When you actually try to connect with your students.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun fact, in my school, you couldn't take Spanish without taking French. You had to take both of them at the same time.
That's stupid.
That is so dumb. Also, if you were really bad at French, you had to take a language at my school, so they'd put you in German.
Wow.
An objectively harder language.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
y'all, that's way worse.
Yep.
German was offered in my school, but you had to be good at like French.
Nope.
So it
you
was the
had
opposite.
to be bad at French in my school.
We got the complete opposite.
And you had to be decent at French to take Spanish, but you also had to take French alongside Spanish.
What the fuck?
So dumb.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Nah, you could do either French or Spanish in my school. I don't know if you could choose to do both, but I didn't want to find out.
Yeah. I think they were talking about offering, I don't know if it's Cantonese or Mandarin, but one of the Chinese languages at one point in my school. But again, with the requirement, you have to take French alongside it. And I'm like, that's so
I
bad.
think maybe something similar
Yeah.
happened in my school for that, actually, because I feel like Cantonese was an option, but I don't know if you had to be really good at French or something beforehand, or just wanted to learn.
Yeah, it's such a
never
strange thing though, like that sort of requirement, because like just because you're not great at one language doesn't mean you can't be good at
Absolutely.
picking up another one, especially something so fundamentally different.
Yeah.
Like a Asian language that
Exactly.
are dealt in
That
such
is-
different.
You're starting from basics.
Yeah.
That I would almost say, hey, if these languages you don't fuck
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it, maybe try that.
Uh-huh.
But no. Yeah.
I've just had a thought. If they offered Japanese, there would be enough weebs in my school
Oh yeah.
to like fill up that class.
Thing is, I wouldn't have taken it in high school.
No,
No, I wouldn't. I wasn't into this stuff at the time.
you weren't quite the weeb you've become now.
I hadn't hatched. No,
Don't
not gonna say that.
don't say that like metaphor. That's taken.
yeah,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, we're not doing that.
No, I hadn't discovered that part yet.
You hadn't descended into the pits of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to
Yeah.
put it.
Yeah. Which we're joining you along.
Can you
Yeah.
hear us from down in the well?
What? Oh shit! Hold on. That means I followed in your footsteps of basically becoming a weeb after high school.
Yeah. Yep.
Fuck.
Yep.
I am your Padawan.
Okay, we've been recording for
Yeah,
long
that
enough
was
now, I think.
our trials and tribulations in school.
Our
Yeah,
high school
I
reminiscence.
Don't know what the fuck I'm gonna title this or the thumbnail. Oh my god.
Again, sorry. Content warning for the dark shit I
Yeah.
talked about at one point.
Yeah.
Oops.
Sorry to all my French teachers who I confused with, why are you good at English? Why can't you just pick up another language? I just don't like it. That one came easy.
That one's,
I don't
this
like
language is icky.
it. Yeah. Well, I don't want to.
No. That language is cooties.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Well, anyway.
thanks for listening.
This was something.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.